right, guys, good to be with you here today. Obviously, another big week, as it always is in this league. So, back at it here these last couple days. Need a good day of prep today for this terrific Wisconsin team coming in. They're off to a great start, as many expected. 92% of their scoring, I think, was back from last year. They had a good team last year, but the addition of a key transfer and some young guys, and then just those guys that returned, getting better and better. They're off to a great start. I think they're clearly, to this point right now, the best team we've seen. So excited for the challenge, and should be a great environment here tomorrow night.
When you look at the numbers, offensive efficiency versus tempo for this team, it's clear that, they want to slow the pace, play the half court. They don't turn the ball over a lot. What is tough about playing a team like that, and how do you address that?
Yeah, they're probably playing a little bit faster than what they played in recent. They'd certainly get some easier baskets. The addition of Store has been a great addition for them. But they're really efficient with their offense, and they've got their shooter back, Asian back, who's had a big game against Nebraska. But they're always a really good team on both ends, really an efficient team on both ends. Older guys, well coached. They just have a toughness about them on both ends.
You mentioned AJ Store. Evans obviously played an important role for this team defensively. Just the matchup with AJ in this game, how will that test him, and what are you looking to see from him?
Are you putting Evan on AJ right now? Is that the amount?
Well, I guess not. You put someone else on him.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We haven't. He's a terrific offensive player. So I think it'll be a number of guys. But they have other really good players, as we all know. Terrific point guard, great size, great interior scorer. Wall's always been kind of one of my favorite players to watch, with his toughness and aggressiveness and ability to impact winning in so many ways. So they've got a lot of other guys, but he's been a great addition.
You talked about Roddy after the game and on your radio show, kind of working through some of his ball handling issues.
Yeah.
What have you challenged him with since the Indiana game, and how have you seen him attack practice since that one?
Yeah, I think just he needs it's decision making combined with his ball skills growing and getting better. I think this is the part of the process for a young player becoming growing into a good player, and it's not going to happen overnight for him. We didn't expect it to. There's going to be bumps along the way, but he's got to make some corrections in terms of just simplifying his attack, reading situations better. We need to help him with that, and he's going to need to adjust. At the same time, he's got to stay aggressive.
When we talked to you, I think it was after the Merrimack game, when I think he had 20, and it was a pretty solid game all around. And you said you were challenging with consistent motor and effort every single day in practice.
Yeah.
Has that been a thing with him? Does that have anything to do with those issues you were just talking about? Are those related at all?
No, I don't think they're related, but it's still something we're challenging him with. I don't know that those two were necessarily related. I see him as a little bit different in terms of his decision making and his ball skills. But yeah, his motor, he knows that. We've always challenged him with the consistent motor, bringing that every day, bringing the level of consistency that good players bring, because he's got it in him, but he needs to be more consistent. I've talked to him about that. I know he and his dad and his coach, high school coach, we've all discussed that with him. We just need that from Roddy. He needs that to experience the kind of growth we want him to experience. And it's a lot for a sophomore, but it's certainly the path he chose and the path we chose to get him better and better quickly.
As you mentioned, the ball skills part of that equation. What can you do mid-season to kind of work on that kind of stuff?
He just needs continued skill work. I just think that's what he's been doing every day. I mean, he's been doing it every day with Jake over and over. So I just think it's continued skill work. But to me, it's the decision making is as much as anything. I'd probably put that more of an issue than the ball skills.
And then Felix was emphasizing that defense is probably going to be key in tomorrow night's game against Wisconsin. I know you were emphasizing after the Indiana game that's probably where you guys could have been better, even with the shots not falling. Do you think Felix can kind of be like maybe an example for the guys that follow with that defensive activity?
Well, he's got real gifts there, and we're different defensively when he's on the floor for sure. So I think when he's bought into it and impacting the game, he can really impact that end. It's got to be a team effort, and I think we were good at times, but not good enough. But at the end of the day, it was really the turnovers that got us in that game. Our rebounding was tremendous on both ends. Really, it was as good a deep rebounding performance as we've had, but it was ultimately the turnovers.
When you talk about decision making with Roddy, is that film work? I mean, is that how you address something like that?
A lot of it, yeah, film work, and we've added some drills just to put him into some situations where crowds are near him and digging at his ball, and he's getting some, two defenders on him, and he's got to read gap help and where the gap help is coming from, and you just got to make a little bit quicker decisions. But yeah, we've done it for the last really couple weeks with him. Just got to keep getting better.
Is this kind of where you expected him? I mean, I know you put more on his plate this year, but
Yeah.
there's going to be some growing pains. Is that a fair?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, because you guys know this. His minutes weren't as consistent until the end of the year, but still he was really playing behind. I think probably even in the opposing defenses' minds, plans, and attack, he was playing behind a number of guys. Even Sean, he wasn't. Okay, now that's changed. Now there's more film on you. There's more tendencies that are seen, and he needs to adjust.
It seems like Wisconsin's probably the deepest team they've had. I think they have maybe 10 or 11 guys that they play on a consistent basis. So I guess what kind of challenges does that present in maybe in terms of like your preparation when there's like players that day in and day out, and each player can go have different, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's probably as deep and as talented of a Wisconsin team as we've seen. I know Johnny Davis was great for him when they had Brad in that year, but the depth of this team's, I think, a little bit better. And they're just, we say every year with Wisconsin, but they're so old. Yeah, they have a number of guys. Addition of a freshman that has really helped them. A couple freshmen that have really helped them. I think just adds to that depth.
Yeah, and you talked about how much you respect Wall's game. Like, I guess what kind of stands out to you about the way they played, and what you, I guess, like about it?
Really tough, tremendous motor, and really smart. So I think requires you to be equally smart, be poised, which could be a challenge sometimes. You got to be able. He's physical, but just a really smart, tough kid.
Talk about defense being important in this one. How do you slow down a hot shooting team like Wisconsin, especially on the perimeter?
Yeah, no, they really shot it well in the Nebraska game last game. They had a number of guys make shots, make threes. I think we just need to have great awareness. Number 3, their Siegen is back, but they got a number of guys that can make shots. So I think we just need to have great team awareness. They're terrific at 2-point. Their 2-point field goal percentage is good as well. And that's where they can get you, playing through the post. So that's why they're a pretty balanced offensive team.
Two more if I can. With not to just like focus on Roddy, but with the game that you just had, where Bruce has a horseshoe neck, but he has 5 assists, no turnovers. Jameson has 5 turnovers, but he gives you 17. When you have a guy who's getting a lot of shots that aren't falling and he's turning it over, as a team, how can you try to compensate for something like that?
I think we probably need a little bit more off of our bench. His decision making's got to get better. When you look at it, Adam, we almost did, given our offensive rebounding, cutting it there to 2 late. So that really allowed us to stay in the game. But it just, we really needed to be a little bit better collectively across the board when, 2 of your leading scorers are struggling shooting the ball, and then, one of your players is just having a tough night.
And then how's Devin doing? And
Yeah.
Has that spread at all?
No, it's not. Fortunately, not spread right now. So he's, I think, getting back to full strength and was back practicing. Anything else? Okay, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
Yep.